Hi, this is Cheryl, and welcome back to another video from Watch Cheryl Scrap. Today I'm scrapping these photographs from a meal at my mom's house. We went over on December 1st to help her put up her decorations, and she always sets a really beautiful table. So this is going to be one of my day one pages. I took a lot of photos that day, so I'll end up having another page, but this will be the first one. I wanted to highlight this particular meal. I am using a template by just Jaimee at the Lily Pad, and this is for the December template challenge. And you should find a link to the template and the product as well in the forum. I'm using her Storyteller December Riley collection, which is just it is so full of things, and I really think I'll be using it for most of this album that I'm creating. So right now I rotated one of the photos because I tend to take photographs in portrait rather than landscape for some reason. My eye is drawn to that. So I just rotated that photo spot, and I'm now rotating this photo spot. The template actually comes with custom shadows. In other words, your shadow is on a separate layer. So I had to do a little bit of rotating, a little bit of flipping after I rotated, so my shadow would be kind of where I wanted it to be. So now I'm just continuing to add the photos, a little close-up of the homemade bread my mom had made. And at this point I couldn't decide like if I wanted to show the can of Diet Pepsi, because my sister and I are just like crazy addicts about it. I decided not to, just to highlight the bread. I'll have to make another layout about Diet Pepsi addiction. So now I've got all my photos put in, and I think at this point I am looking through the collection to see what I want to add. And I use ACDC, which is just a photo management program to organize my digital supplies, and I've been using it for a really long time. I think I'm up to version 14, and they may be up to 18 or 19 now, but you can, organize your digital supplies, in a number of ways, including Photoshop elements and the organizer included in it. You can use Lightroom. There are tons of videos about that, but I do work on two separate screens, so you won't see me looking through the supplies because that's on my opposite screen that's not being recorded. I just find it easier to have my canvas clear and then drag from one monitor to the other when I'm ready to add something into the project bin. So I've added where it says little title, add a little word strip today, and I do end up moving that later. And I'm just adding a few elements in those suggested element spots. I added a glittered ampersand because it was absolutely gorgeous, and I love those little brads that are on top of it. And now I'm adding some papers. I chose a dotted paper for the corner and a repeat of a paper mat up at the top, and then I add a ledger paper for my background. And I add this photo corner up at the top just to kind of mimic the papers down on the bottom. I wanted to give them, a repeat. Now I'm adding the label down on the bottom, and what was cool about it is that particular label had a paper fold, and it just looked like it would fit perfectly over a paper that was kind of stuck up. So that's why I put that down in the bottom. add that flower there and I end up moving that completely. I don't think I keep anything in that suggested element spot. And the little triangle that I've added on top of the paper, I end up putting it at the top of the layout as well. So now I'm trying to determine what papers I'm going to put on the half page, and I chose the 2 repeating patterns for the paper mat behind the photos and the corner. So I'm just moving some things around here. I think I was moving some of the shadows a little bit and changing the opacity down a little bit darker. Yep, see there I moved that flower and I moved the little triangle element up to the top. And I add a little floral element down to the bottom. Gold holly leaf is absolutely gorgeous. And paint. This collection is filled with just lots of fun paint. And so what I've done here is just I added one piece. I put, one on one side. I duplicated it and drug it to the other side. Now I'm adding a little vellum swag on top of that half piece, and I'm shadowing it, getting it placed just where I want it, and then I'm reducing the opacity of that shadow. Then searching for one final paper, so I think I take a few minutes to look for that. Excuse me. And I end up choosing that heart paper because, yes, I love my mom's food, and it just seemed like it was a good choice. I love the little pops of red there. And I'm going through my layers now just to make sure everything is merged down. I don't always do that, but sometimes I do. I like things neat and clean in my little layers palette. There's nothing wrong with leaving it unmerged though. And, oh, yep, some more paint and stamps, and the stars, they're just so cute. So again, I add the one stamp and I just duplicate it, and I do that by clicking on the element and pressing Alt on my keyboard while I'm dragging, and it will automatically duplicate your layer for you. So I think I'm back out again searching for another paper. No, I saw this when I was looking for a paper, and I was like, oh, I need to add that, and I liked having that little stripe, and it's definitely a favorite thing to go eat at my mom's. And the homemade bread, yes, was absolutely delicious. It was great with the cream turkey on top, and just fabulous by itself. Now I know I'm going to add some written details down there in the journaling about the meal, and to describe, the dishes that my mom used. She always sets a beautiful table. She had made 2 turkeys for Thanksgiving. We were actually gone to Disney, my sister and I, and with our dad, and so she had cooked, a turkey, and then she actually cooked another one on Sunday, and so we were able to have some turkey leftovers, so we didn't miss an entire turkey day with my mom, which was nice. So she also pulled out some zipper peas. I don't know if y'all have had those or not. Maybe it's just a southern thing, but they're so good. They're so good. If you can find them in your area, give them a try. And then, of course, we had just regular turkey. And I didn't take a picture of it, but she had made a pumpkin pie for dessert, and it was just absolutely yummy. Okay, I think I'm looking, oh, some stitching. So I had put the good stuff above the photos in that little title spot, and I really wanted to add some more black, so you saw me add some black splatters, and so now I'm looking to add some more stuff. So I have the black arrows, the black stitching, and I'm just kind of seeing, okay, what can I add here and there. I didn't like that one. I thought I might just use the black edge. And I go hunting again, and I end up with a heart. I think that's what I end up with. That I put over where it says favorite. But it may take me a while to find it. Now this video is sped up 2 times. I scrap fast, I don't scrap this fast. It's about 30-minute scrap. Okay, I'm deciding to put this little stamp. I really kind of wanted to have a bridge between the top cluster and that bottom corner. And if you see me close everything out in my project bin, I do that frequently. I usually don't like a lot of stuff in there. And I had already done my cover page, so when I was pulling that number, I was thinking, oh, I'm on layout number 2, day 2. No, just day 1. I've only done the cover. So add that in. Accidentally turned the eye off on my little label. I end up figuring that out later. And so you can see here, I'm doing my journaling. It's funny to watch myself type that quickly, and also to see how I end up backing up and going forward, and yeah. And I think I had decided I was going to just keep the same font, which I think is like Courier New. That was in the template itself, in the text box that she had included on the template. So I went ahead and typed everything using that font. Now I'm just kind of zooming in. I'm looking at the different elements because I'm like trying to decide what am I going to write about the decorations. And so I was taking a closer look at how she'd folded the napkins and what tablecloth she used. And I'm just moving my journaling so it's on that bottom paper. And I want to have a slight shadow on that half paper, so I had opened up the dialog box and moved the shadow angle up. And I think now, yeah, I'm going through, I'm changing all the shadow opacity to 50. It was just a little dark for me. Everybody has their own preferences, and it really depends. Like if you were trying to imitate a paper layout, you would have a, depending on the time of day and how it was photographed, and if there was artificial lighting or spotlighting, you could have some really dark, hard edge shadows. But for the most part, I prefer a lighter shadow. Sorry, I got distracted there because I was like, what am I doing? I end up taking that half paper and decreasing the size a little bit. And I think I took the nudge tool and just moved a shadow in there. So I'm coming back here, and I think this is when I decide I'm going to change the typewriter font. I like Traveling Typewriter. I think it's free font, so and I changed the size. I want it to be smaller, and of course there's like one word sticking down there, so I end up changing the size of the text box. Just doing some little minor adjustments there. I finally turned the little details back on after I'd hidden it. And so now I'm just changing the size of the text box so that there's not one word that's lonely by itself. And that's going to be it. Here's my completed layout. I think it turned out quite well. Don't forget to like, share the video, subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.